Welcome back, it's me, Lou. For today's video, we are going to jump into the time machine and travel way back to 1994. And what makes 1994 so special? Well, it's the year that this beauty was produced. So what we have here is a old Batmobile. It belonged to the Legends of Batman line, produced by Kenner way back in 1994. But before we continue further with this showcase, let me give a quick shout out to Wax Packs Records and Toys, located in beautiful Roselle, Illinois. This was the store where I picked up this little gem. The store is awesome, so if you happen to be in the Chicagoland area, check it out. Okay, so I kind of have a thing for like Batmobiles. Ever since I was a little kid, the Batmobile has always fascinated me. Whether it was the the Batmobile from the live action Batman '66, or like from the Super Friends cartoon, to like the '89 Batmobile, or all the different Batmobiles from like Batman and Robin, Batman Forever. There was the Tumbler from the Dark Knight movies. I've always just had a thing for the Batmobile. And this Batmobile in particular is something I'm very fond of. It's a toy that I passed up on when it first came out back in 1994. And over the last few years, I've always been kind of like, seeking one out. Now this one that's in my possession, it's far from perfect shape. It's missing some accessories. It's kind of beat up. And when I found this in the store, it was disgusting, and it still is. It was covered in cobwebs. There was so much grime and dust on it, and I did not clean it off yet. This is one of those things where I kind of want to show this and share this with you before I clean her up. So, yeah, right now it's just really disgusting. If you look at it carefully, it's all crusty in certain areas, and it's really gross. I wouldn't be surprised if I opened this thing up and there were spiders inside of it. When I was in the shop, I was like examining this, and I was trying to see, if different Batman figures would fit inside, and then there was like all these cobwebs on the inside. It was disgusting. So I wanted to showcase this toy now because I do plan on removing all the stickers and just cleaning it up. But I wanted to share it with you, as it would look. As the toy would look back in 1994. And it's a really, really cool Batmobile. It's really stylized, it's very aerodynamic, and there's a lot of history to this one also. So let's get started. All right, so like I mentioned, this belonged to the Legends of Batman line. This was produced, I believe, back in 1994. And as you can see here, here's the Batmobile. This was the actual box art. And then here's the big play feature. It shoots out a missile. The design of the Batmobile is kind of reminiscent of the '89 Batmobile, but there were some changes to that, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But as you can see here, the Batmobile with missile detonator and quick lift canopy. And the quick lift canopy is this right here. This pops open. And we'll take a look at that in a moment too. So yeah, this was produced by Kenner. So if you're familiar with, the Batman toys of like the late 80s and early 90s, Kenner had the rights to, Batman for a good long time way back when. In addition to producing like the superpowers figures, they did action figures for some of the Michael Keaton films. Although I do think the first Batman '89 film, I think that was the initial run of figures. Those were produced by Toy Biz. But then I think as the movies continued forward with like Batman Returns, and I think all the way up until Batman and Robin, I think Kenner handled a lot of the Batman stuff then. And at some point in time, when they got absorbed by Hasbro, I think Hasbro produced the animated series figures. But Kenner's had a long history of producing Batmobiles, and this is one of the more memorable ones. It's not necessarily the most iconic, but I think this is a Batmobile that was kind of burned into the memories of a lot of collectors and comic book fans way back when. So this design of the Batmobile was first introduced to us in the comic book. Here it is, Judgment on Gotham. This was an amazing comic book when it came out. It was written by Alan Grant, John Wagner, and then it was illustrated by Simon Bisley. I believe Simon Bisley won an award that year for Best Illustrator, and that was because of the work he did on this comic book. If I remember correctly, I think this was a one-shot. So during this time period in the early 90s, Batman was doing crossovers with all sorts of crazy characters, you know, from Spawn to Aliens to the Predator. But the Judgment on Gotham book was awesome. This was Batman, you know, crossing paths with Judge Dredd. And it was a very cool story. The artwork's amazing. And I have to be careful flipping through this book because there is some nudity in it, so I don't want to get flagged. So let me find the illustration of the Batmobile in here, and I'll share that with you in a second. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to find it. All right, I'm almost there. Okay, I think I found it. Right, whoops, I missed it. All right. I know I should really plan this out better, but okay, I found it. All right, so yeah, so like I said, I don't want to like just thumb through the comic book because there's nudity, and the last thing I want to do is get a strike from YouTube. So this is the Batmobile's first appearance. So the Batmobile toy that we're looking at, this was the inspiration for it. This was Simon Bisley's Batmobile design, and as you can see, it takes certain elements from the '89 Batmobile, but kind of, you know, it kind of has that Simon Bisley art twist. If you're familiar with the artist, the character he's most known for, in addition to slaying the Horned God, was DC Comics' Lobo. He was the kind of guy, him and Alan Grant, they kind of like, and Keith Geffen, they kind of like rebooted Lobo. And if you're familiar with the Lobo character, he's awesome. And Simon Bisley was really the one responsible for creating the much more modern, iconic look of the character. And here's a profile shot of the Batmobile. As you can see, you know, they kind of cleaned up the design somewhat, but a lot of the inspiration for the toy was derived from this thing up here. And the toy was kind of interesting because, like I said, it was a part of the Legends of Batman line. And this was kind of like the lead Batman figure for the toy line in the first wave. This was Crusader Batman. The Legends of Batman figures, they were slightly more premium than Kenner's normal Batman action figures. Like generally, I think most of the Kenner Batman action figures are probably about like maybe 4 to 4.5 inches tall, whereas the Legends of Batman, I think they were like a little bit over 5 or somewhere around 5 inches. They were a lot larger, and even though they had play features, they felt like they were aimed more so at the collector and the comic book fan. And they were pretty cool figures, but it was kind of one of those weird things where they're almost kind of like semi-posed, so they're almost like tiny little statues with 5 points or more of articulation. But this was kind of like the key iconic version of Batman that was to accompany this Batmobile right here. And for me, it was kind of an odd figure because one of his arms was kind of like bent outwards, so it's not like he was ever standing neutral. And if you wanted the figure to sit comfortably in the Batmobile, you had to remove his cape. Okay, so enough history about the Batmobile. We're going to take a look at it. So here is a profile view. As you can see, it's very aerodynamic. It's in some ways it kind of echoes parts of the '89 Batmobile, especially from the profile view. It's a little bit more like stubbier, but it definitely does have similar curves, especially at the front towards the fender, and it kind of curves up towards the hood, and then it kind of waves back down, and then you kind of get the nice large, you know, bat fins towards the rear of the vehicle, much like the '89 Batmobile. And much like the 89 Batmobile 2, kind of had like the rocket engine in the front and then the exhaust in the back. And we can take a look at that here. There's a large amount of stickers that had to be applied to this vehicle as well. And when I clean this thing up, I'm probably going to take all the stickers off and just clean off all the residue with some Goo Gone. I doubt I could find replacement stickers. And I know there's some collectors out there that would probably just try to clean this the best they could and leave the stickers on. But for me, I'm kind of like OCD, and I want this to be like completely like sanitized and cleaned off, because it's disgusting right now. As you can see, there's all sorts of dust and crust on it. You know, it definitely shows sign that this belonged to a child, because it's played with, and there's all sorts of gross like crustiness and dust going on. It's, oh man, I definitely really want to clean this out. You know, unfortunately, you know, when I remove the stickers, you know, I'm gonna have to get rid of the headlights. And there's a part of me that's even contemplating this, repainting this altogether also. Like in the comic book, it wasn't silver. It was kind of more like a metallic blue. But the silver is a nice choice. It's a nice color, though. It's a nice color choice. But I think it would look a lot cooler in blue. The wheels are nice. I believe the logo, I don't think this is a sticker. This might be screened on, the logo. This kind of like flame-like details, kind of like recessed in. This is not a sticker, which is nice. So here is where you attach the missile, and then here's the button to shoot it out. Like I said, unfortunately, there was no missile included with this. The canopy opens up to reveal the inside, and it's spacious, but it's made to hold, like, you know, roughly maybe like a 4.5 inch to 5 inch action figure. So if you're thinking about putting a McFarlane figure in there, you know, think again. You know, here's the McFarlane design Batman. You know, as you can see, he's a lot larger. He wouldn't fit inside of it, and the door or the canopy would definitely not be able to close with him inside. So this is really scaled down for a much smaller figure. If you happen to have the new McFarlane Batman from the Superpowers line that's available at Walmart, that action figure would definitely fit in this. And that's a figure I just might pick up tomorrow, now that I think about it. But like I said, this thing's disgusting right now. I'm not sure if the camera could catch it, but there's all sorts of like cobwebs going on the inside, and it's gross. So I'm going to have to open this thing up. But here's a quick look at the dashboard. Yeah, as you can see, lots of stickers. It's going to like break my heart to remove all these stickers, but like I said, you know, I'd rather have this thing be cleaned and sanitized than, you know, be halfway clean with the stickers intact. You know, the stickers don't mean that much to me, although I know there are a lot of collectors out there that, you know, you kind of feel like you need to keep them on there. But for me, it's like, it's disgusting. You know, this whole toy is like caked in dust and dirt and grime. It's horrible. Now, this is when you should have seen this at the shop. It was disgusting. It was like, oh my god, I felt like I was gonna throw up. But you know, I only paid like $20 for this, which I think is a fair price. Here it is, $20. Because I've seen this thing on eBay going for like $50 without like half of the accessories. So, all right. So since I'm gonna clean this thing up, I'm actually gonna take it apart also. So we're gonna do that on camera right now, just for the hell of it, so we can share that experience together. So to remove the canopy, I think you flip this up, and the hinge here I think should just untab pretty easily. Yeah, just like that. Like, I've seen this toy before in like stores, like secondhand stores, but it'd always be missing like either the canopy or like one or both of these fins. These fins, you can easily remove them. Over here, you just untab them. Same with the windscreen, you just unscrew the pieces over there. And it does look pretty cool even without the top. You know, I'm sure if you're a customizer, you could probably do something wacky and wild with this. You know, maybe turn it into like Batman's go-kart or something. But we're going to open this thing up, partially because I want to see if there's anything disgusting in here, like dead spiders. And, I don't know, I think it'd just be fun to share that experience with you. Alright, let's see if I can get this thing open. Alright, so some of these screws won't fit. I know this makes for boring content, but I don't really care. It's late, I'm tired, and I just kind of want to do this tonight because I have nothing else to do. I have like a work meeting in the morning, but I'm hoping these are all the same size screws too, because I'm not keeping tabs on which screw goes to where. I remember years ago there was a story about this dude who bought like a PlayStation 2 on Craigslist, and then I think it was non-functioning, so he had to fix it up. But in order to do so, he had to take it apart, and then when he did, there was like cockroaches inside of it. All right, just give me a moment. I'm gonna grab another screwdriver. All right, I got one. This one fits. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what the inside looks like. That's the nice thing with these older toys from like the 80s and 90s is that there's not a whole lot going on with them. It's not like a lot of the toys today. You know, a lot of these toys were held together with simple screws, and they're easy to disassemble. And if, you know, if this thing disassembles pretty easily, there's a chance I might actually repaint it. I think it looks cool, silver, but part of me is kind of like, you know, jonesing to make this thing my own. So I wouldn't mind just giving a complete repaint. You know, that way I can, like, you know, make it look the way I want it to look. And I could, like, you know, take some liberties and add some embellishments. Alright, there's one screw, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so all the screws are taken out and are accounted for. Let's see if this thing opens up. And hopefully there won't be anything disgusting inside of it. Like, I already know there's cobwebs inside of there, but man, I don't want to find like dead bugs in here. Ugh, there's gross. I think there's like a dead spider in there. And this thing does not want to completely come apart. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's disgusting. Ew. Oh, there's like, I'm not sure if it's dead. Oh, yeah, there's like, ugh. Yeah, as you can see, there's a spider right there. I don't know if it's dead or not. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to clean this thing out. I'm going to remove all the stickers. So, yeah, this is disgusting. All right, so just bear with me. I'm going to come back like in a second. And when I do, this thing will be cleaned up and it'll look good as new. So just hold on for a second. Okay, I'm back. After about 45 minutes of removing all the stickers and removing the adhesive residue using Goo Gone, we're back to like how the toy originally looked, you know, before it was all stickered up and played with. So, like I said, I took all the stickers off. I used Gooby Gone to remove all the residue, and then afterwards I used some dishwashing detergent and some hot water and a toothbrush, and I just scrubbed the hell out of all of this. And it looks nice. It looks new. I do miss the stickers, but I gotta admit, the plastic just looks so much cleaner. It looks, you know, for lack of a better term, it looks very fresh. There's still some scuff marks, you know, that can't be removed, but for the most part, it's a very clean looking toy again. It feels new. It just radiates a different energy about it. And I'm excited. And we're going to put this thing together. So let's start with the canopy. Here's the windscreen. I think this simply attaches. Like, how do you do this? Like this. And let's get the screws back in. So the whole time I'm taking this thing apart, I'm like thinking, man, I really want to repaint this. And that might be a project. I'm not 100% committed to it yet, but it's a project that's really tempting to me to do in the near future. It's a beautiful build. It looks great. And I think if with the right finish, I'd love to give it like a much premium finish, like with a very high gloss paint job. You know, I'm kind of toying around with the idea of maybe even trying using like automotive paints just to see what it'd look like on here, but I'm not sure if automotive paints would adhere to the plastic correctly, or if you get like, you know, or if it would kind of resist and it would like, you know, bubble off or something or chip away. But I would love to have like a nice, like real, like automotive finish to this, you know, nice and clean and really glossy. I think that'd make for a really wonderful looking toy. Part of me was also wondering, you know, like since I removed all the stickers from the dashboard, you know, maybe I could like try to cobble together like actual plastic gauges and knobs and all sorts of other doodads for the dashboard to give it, you know, a little bit a higher level of detail. But all that's just going to be like time consuming, and I'm not sure if I want to commit to that just yet. I have like other projects that always kind of need my attention. I really wish I had the missile for this too. That was kind of the one thing I regret not having, buying this used. But I mean, that's always going to be the case. You know, anytime you buy a secondhand vehicle, it's always going to be missing, like, you know, whether like an accessory, or if it came with a free figure, it's going to be missing the figure. You know, it's always going to be missing projectiles. But I was just pretty stoked on just being able to get the vehicle itself intact. That was the important thing. Like I mentioned before, for whatever reason, this is one of those toys that if you find on the secondary market, it's always missing like everything. So, all right, so this over here, this is where the rocket launcher is. This is the firing mechanism. So generally, you'd insert the missile here. Then it locks into place, and then as soon as you press this button, it releases. It's just a shame I don't have a missile. I might hunt around because there's a good chance maybe something else, like maybe an old Star Wars missile or a G.I. Joe missile might fit in here. I love these fins. They look so cool. I do miss the black. You know, after I removed the stickers, I kind of regretted it, but some of the stickers are just like already peeling off and beat up. But if I gave this a nice paint job, chances are I'd paint these recesses black here. And how do you do this? Alright, so I think this goes in first. Alright, there you go. And then lastly, let's attach the body to the Now I think this snaps into place, because remember I had some difficulty trying to separate the pieces initially. There you go. Let's get all these screws back in. A couple years back, it was a big hobby of mine was just buying old toys, broken toys, and just doing my best to restore them. Like they'd never be restored to like, you know, how they were like stock and factory, but You know, I do the best I can to like try to repair them. I was really big into like fixing up old Transformers too. I'd buy old Transformers and try to like breathe new life into them. This is a horrible screwdriver, by the way. I need to find another one. Alright, Alright, bear with me. Just give me a second. Let me grab another screwdriver. Okay, I found a better screwdriver. So as I was saying, back in the day, I was really big into this, buying old toys, like old Transformers, and just like fixing them up. They'd never be like back to like, you know, factory stock shape, but they'd at least be presentable. You know, you'd be able to display them again. In many cases, you'd be able to transform them. They might be missing some of their accessories, but for the most part, you know, they were cleaned up. They looked really nice. Every now and then I'll go on YouTube and I'll look at like restoration videos. I like watching people restore like old like Hot Wheels cars, Matchboxes. I've seen a couple of like videos where people would restore like old Batmobile toys too, and like some like the old radio controlled ones. I don't know, the whole thing kind of fascinates me. Like I kind of regret not videotaping this whole process, like when I took this thing apart and cleaning it up, but it's just I mean right now, I mean for me it's like even just doing this, I know it's kind of like boring content, but I just wanted to do this tonight. I needed some sense of accomplishment tonight. Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence about painting this. I'd love to paint it, but like I said, I can't. I have enough projects on my table right now, and you know, I think once I start customizing this, you know, there might be a project that might take a week or two, because I'd probably go nuts and just want to like even like light it up and stuff, but I don't have that kind of time to spare right now. I do miss the stickers, but I gotta admit, it looks so much cleaner. You know, now that I kind of cleaned it up. It was like completely filthy and disgusting. Alright, so how many screws do I have left? I did this one. I don't know. Alright, I think I have one screw left. I can't see with the light. I apologize if this video is already too long. My videos are long enough as it is, but chances are, if you're sticking around past the 10-minute mark, you already know what you're getting into, so. Alright, that's... I have a tendency to, like, over-tighten, like, everything, so... my fear is right now that I'm actually going to strip out the screw. And I think that's it. I think this is the last one. And then we could take a look at her once she's all assembled again. It's crazy that this toy came out in 1994. That was the year I graduated high school. And, you know, next year is 2023. So it's, for me, it boggles my mind that this thing is like close to being like 30 years old. I kind of wish McFarlane would make a Batmobile for the DC Multiverse line. I know they had that death metal like Batmobile monster truck deal, but I don't know. I wasn't too hot on that. I don't know why they just went into a Batmobile. And there was that horrible like Raptor like hybrid Batmobile motorcycle deal that they did during I think like the first or second wave. That thing was horrible also. You know, I think there's so much money to be made in a Batmobile, and I think it would sell. I just don't know why they haven't done it yet. But at the same time, I don't think McFarlane figures are well suited to be like be made to like, you know, occupy vehicles because of the way they're engineered. Like even though they have all the articulation, they don't feel like they're as, you know, vehicle friendly. And let's tab this back into place. And voila, we have the cleaned up Legends of Batman Batmobile. And let's take a look at her. Here is a nice profile view of her. I love the fact that the emblems on the wheels are screened on. They're not stickers. So even though I removed like all the stickers, at least, you know, you still know it's the Batmobile because it has the Batman emblem on it. Beautiful profile. Here's a top view. It's almost like shaped like a peanut. You know, if you look at it carefully, you know, it looks like a peanut. Here's a view of the back. It's really missing something without the stickers, and I do feel bad that I took them off, but they were kind of flaking off and they were disgusting looking. You know, maybe if I'm up to the challenge in the future, maybe I'll design my own. I've done that before with other toys, so we'll see. Another view of the back, other profile view. It's a really nice Batman. I mean, it's a really nice Batmobile. If you like the '89 Batmobile, I think this is something that you should consider. You know, it's a lot more streamlined. It kind of has, you know, a similar shape to it, but it's a little bit more graceful. And it does feel like it's missing something without the missile here. And then let's take a look at open up the interior. And then there's the inside of it. As I mentioned earlier, there's some scuffing. You know, that can't be cleaned up or removed. But that's alright, I can live with that. You know, for the most part, this thing feels almost brand new. And it's just a really cool toy. Alright, so let's wrap this one up. I apologize if it was a little bit too long, but I don't know. This was kind of just like a fun project that we got to do together. And I just want to share it with you. So, I hope that if you grew up during this time period, you know, maybe if you were a child yourself and you had this, I hope this brought back some fond memories. If you're a Batmobile enthusiast like I am, I hope this is maybe piques your interest, and maybe this might be something you might want to hunt down in the near future. You know, just be on the lookout for a Batmobile that's complete. You know, this one's kind of just missing the missile. Most of the time, if you find this guy like at a flea market, you know, it might be missing the fins or even the canopy. But it's a really, really beautiful rendition of the Batmobile. You know, it has really graceful curves, nice lines. And if you're a comic book fan, it's even better because it kind of evokes that Batmobile that appeared in the Batman Judge Dredd comic that we looked at earlier. Alright, so wrapping this up, once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So, until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.